So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. All right, Rockstar Nation. Wow, we have a pair of dynamite guests coming on the scene today. Mark Maiocca and Mark Stiles. And these guys are doing some fascinating things with real estate agent referral networks. And we're going to dig deep into what I'm talking about. I'm going to let them explain it to them. But basically what you need to know is you need to know that this is a massive way for you to boost your sphere of influence levels of business. If your goal this year is to, increase that by 50%, this is the one you want to listen to. And ways that you can really go out and do this by following a simple process that they're going to share today. So without further ado, let me just welcome them to the show. Mark, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
Thank you.
Very excited to be here.
Hey guys, why don't you just give everybody a little rundown on yourself so they can get to know you better.
I'm Mark Maiocca. I'm the founder and creator of the Core 7 referral system, and I'm also a producing loan officer, and I've been in the business for over 20 years.
And Pat, I'm Mark Stiles. I'm a real estate attorney up in the Massachusetts, New England area. And I've also been doing this for 20 years, closing over 20,000 residential and commercial loans.
Awesome. So we got a real estate attorney and a real estate mortgage broker. And you guys have created something that's been getting a lot of press lately. And, I kept seeing things on it and I was like, let me get these guys on the show. So why don't you tell us what is the Core 7 and how does it work?
So Mark Maiocca wrote a book a few years ago called What's My Rate? What's Your Rate? Excuse me. Sorry about that, Marco.
Sorry.
What's Your Rate? And it's a really cool story about a young couple buying a home, working with their real estate agent, who then introduces them to their real estate attorney and their loan officer, who then take them through the process of buying the home, but then catching each step of the financial well-being throughout the process. So they introduce them to an estate planning attorney, a CPA, a property and casualty insurance agent, of course, and a financial advisor. And the financial advisor is the unique selling proposition of this, truly, because a lot of real estate agents aren't necessarily working directly with financial advisors, where in this methodology, what happens in essence is we're turning the process upside down a little bit. So a real estate agent will typically refer two people and then that's it. So what does the real estate agent do? They sit back and they figure out, how am I going to get these leads? Am I going to buy leads? Am I going to farm neighborhoods? Am I going to call expires? What am I going to do tomorrow to make sure that I'm continuing the flow of deals? In this methodology, the way the process works with the systematic referrals is that everybody's responsible for each other. So this Core 7 professionals, 7 core professionals work together, and the financial advisor has a responsibility to then refer back to a real estate agent. And this is obviously the cliff notes of this. There's a massive amount of content involved in how this works. But in essence, the real estate agent benefits by way of having this group surrounding them to show their consumer that, hey, we're all about protecting you. Everybody's got a role, and we want to make sure that you're not missing any potential trap, if you will, by not being completely protected with a financial plan and all of the right people surrounding you. So then the financial advisor says, okay, I'm working with an estate planning attorney and a CPA, and those are my typical referral sources, but then it usually ends there. They are tasked with, and Mark's going to go into some detail about how, when, and why they make these referrals, but they're then tasked to make referrals back to the real estate agent by introducing other clients to a real estate agent so that they don't lie awake at night wondering, where am I going to get my next lead? They wake up the next morning, their financial advisor partner has 2 leads on their email for them.
Right. So you're essentially, rather than an old school method of say, give as many referrals as you possibly can to as many different people and receive as many referrals as you can from as many people, like your auto mechanic and your plumber and everybody and anybody that you can do, or joining like a BNI or a tip where you have maybe 50 people in there, and there are all kinds of gun shop owners and weed shop owners and electricians and everybody and anybody that could get a referral. You're saying take these core 7, which the real estate agent is 1. So people listening, there's 6, right? There's the mortgage officer, obviously no brainer. You should have one. Financial advisor, real estate attorney, property and casualty agent, right? Insurance, basically, accountant, and estate planning attorney.
That's
so dumb this down for me. Like if I wanted to start out and I'm a brand new agent, how do I build the core 7? What do I do with it? What are like some daily, weekly, monthly actions I need to take? Put this all in a perspective. So we're talking about meat and potatoes of how to here rather than just kind of an understanding of it.
Okay, well, this is Mark Maiocca. Basically what we do is we help the Core 7 create structured mastermind groups based on a referral methodology, which Mark described, that helps the consumer get all 7 professionals on their team to protect them, typically when they purchase a home. And each professional has a specific action that they take systematically that benefits the whole entire group. So for example, when a realtor has a client and they're looking for a client to buy a home, they typically refer a mortgage originator to get the loan and a real estate attorney to obviously draw up the purchase and sale. Typically,
right. Or a title company if they're in a non-attorney state, right? Okay. So those 2 are no-brainers, right? I mean, that's people are listening and saying, of course that's a no-brainer. I learned that in rookie school, right? So you got those 2. But what about the other 4? I mean, how do you get them involved, and how do I make money on it?
Great question.
So basically they refer that person, and typically you'd say, well, why would the realtor be loyal to these 2 professionals? Where's the benefit for the real estate agent? And the responsibilities of the mortgage originator and the real estate attorney or the escrow officer is not only to do their job and help integrate the mortgage into the overall financial plan, but also to talk to the client about what's coming next and introducing a financial advisor. Because I find that typically it's tough to make the crossover. It's tough for the client to go from purchasing a home and then to protect it. Because once you buy a home, you have an estate. So you need to protect that estate. You need to start thinking about, the next steps in your overall financial plan. So once they get to the financial advisor, they get the other 3. If a financial advisor is putting together a financial plan, the other 3 professionals come into play. So
and those other 3, you think that the financial advisor probably already knows, or yeah. I mean, so right. So you're going agent, mortgage officer in these exact orders: agent, mortgage officer. Actually, it doesn't have to be in this order, because the whole idea is you're getting referrals from these other people.
The methodology works for whichever way they come in. It's all designed so that the customer will have all 7 professionals when they're done with the transaction.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
The way I
so I'm an agent. How do I bring in accountant, estate planning attorney? How do I bring those two in? The insurance is a no-brainer, right? It's like a text here, call this guy, you need insurance. Right. And I'm sure I'm dumbing that down.
How do they bring them in to introduce the consumer or bring them to the mastermind group? To the consumer?
Yeah.
Well, for every pre-approval I do basically when I issue the pre-approval, I say that I based your pre-approval based on debt to income ratios that all lenders do. But I'm not considering, your lifestyle expenses or anything like that. How's your relationship with your financial advisor? And there's certain points in my process throughout the whole year where I'm consistently asking them in a very non-intrusive way if they have a financial advisor that they would work with. Typically, once they get to the financial advisor, then they're going to do a will and a trust or something like that. So they're going to have the estate planning attorney. The insurance, they probably already have from the home purchase if it went that direction. But the financial team brings the insurance person in for the umbrella insurance and, protecting the assets many times. And the accountant, obviously, there's always tax planning involved. So it's the crossover from the real estate professionals, which are the, realtor, mortgage, and real estate attorney or escrow, crossing over to the financial arena. And we have a methodology that pretty much does that right away so that they can at least have the professionals in place many times when they're purchasing their first home, which is typically the first step.
What is that methodology?
It's basically each professional has two referral sources that they're supposed to refer at each point in the process. We could go hours discussing the methodology and all the different ways it's supposed to happen, but in the mastermind group, we have tracking mechanisms so that everyone will follow, and that's where all our training videos and everything like that comes into play.
So then, okay, so you got the course 7, right? And how often are you meeting for breakfast, lunch, whatever? What do you got? What do you recommend?
We have one mastermind meeting a month, and we have 2 one-on-one partnership planning sessions that can happen over phone. Well, they can be done by telephone or in person.
Okay, so give me a definition. What does that mean? Partnership planning session.
Basically, just so in our mastermind groups, we have a lesson, and also we assign meetings for each of the partners around specific. They have specific assignments to talk to. So 1 month it might be mortgage originator and realtor. You guys are supposed to talk about the handoff at pre-approval. And so each month we have different professionals that we set up like that. And the mastermind meeting is when all 7 meet together and we go through the.
So once a month you meet all 7, let's say, and then you meet 2 of the 7, let's say one-on-one or on Zoom, video, or on phone or whatever, every month, right? So say every quarter you've kind of gotten a one-on-one with each of these 7. And then, so let's say you let me in the group, and let's say I'm an estate attorney, and let's say you're an agent. What is your expectation of me in order for me to stay in your group?
Great question.
You want me to take that one?
Yeah.
So the estate planner's primary referral targets. Now there's a lot of referrals that can be given out. It doesn't mean you can't refer anyone in the group. But the two primaries that we want to make sure that we're focusing on for the estate planning attorney are the real estate agent and the financial advisor. So let me give you an example. And there's a couple different examples based on how the meeting with the client goes. But you know, for an estate planning attorney, typically there might be assets, houses in the estate plan that they typically need to know the value of.
Right.
The estate planner is to ask the question, you know, you have some home values here that we're going to need to know before we start ordering appraisals that are going to cost you money. Why don't we start? How's your relationship with your real estate agent who specializes in equity assessments?
See how he did that, Pat? It was not salesy at all. You know, there's no weirdness to it. So the estate planning attorney, who's typically not a professional that does well referring, or
right.
refers.
Yeah, because most attorneys are paranoid, because that's how you get sued, is you get attached to something.
Get sued, or you're protecting the deal. You're afraid that somebody
Conflicts of interest.
Yeah, everything. So, but it's really a nice handoff, and it makes sense. And there's thousands of scripts of how to hand it off in a really important way that makes complete sense to the consumer.
Now, if I'm in the group, if I'm in your Core 7 and you're Joe, real estate agent, and let's say I've heard this podcast and I set out and I write, and guys, they have a little diagram here that I'll share with you in their show notes, which has you in the middle, and then you have, well, actually the consumer's in the middle. Right. I should say consumer, but the consumer's in the middle, and then all the Core 7 are around them. If I'm in the group and I've been in it, say 6 months, and I haven't given any referrals, do you kick me out?
That's a great question. There's actually a methodology in the mastermind meeting in our quarterly updates that almost creates a self-ejection mechanism into it, where we found that if the real estate agent, maybe they have a relationship elsewhere with a mortgage person that's not in the group, or maybe they're just not producing, they have to go through this questionnaire, and most often they're going to come to the conclusion that I need to step away.
Let me just clarify that a little. So Pat, every month we have the mastermind meeting, and there's two sections that really kind of dig into the tracking. We track the referral system to make sure that the primary referral targets are being introduced, or at least attempting to. We also have a hot seat where one person in the Core 7 is going to sit on the hot seat, and they're going to be asked specific questions to how they're doing things. Like, how many, if it was a realtor, how many buyers have you been working with this month? I haven't heard from any. How is your introduction at the buyer meeting? How is that going? But what Mark is talking about is what we call the quarterly referral scorecard, and this one literally comes down to how many closings have you? How many deals have closed that you have referred?
Yeah.
What we have in this quarterly referral scorecard is what we call this. We don't call it this in the product, but it's the self-ejection policy, because we rate what is normal. So if you're either in poor, fair, good, or excellent status based on the closings in a quarterly time frame, and if you're in poor status for more than 2 quarters, so 180 days, there's a third page that you read, and it basically says, should you really be in this group? Is it fair to everyone else in the group? Should you? And what it does is it gives people the opportunity to leave with their dignity. There's a lot of times people start groups and someone's not producing, and they're just no one wants to throw the person out because they may be very nice, and that could be the end of the relationship.
Fascinating, fascinating. So, going back to the same example of a real estate agent, estate planning attorney, which obviously most of the people listening to this are going to be real estate agents. I think the one they might struggle the most with getting into the group, getting them to give up their time every month and every other week on a one-on-one call is going to be the attorney, because they charge hourly. So I'm using these two on purpose. I can see the estate attorney sitting in the hot seat, and you telling them ahead of time, hey, bring the list of every appointment you've had over the last 30 days. And they bring the list of all these people's names. And then you guys are like, okay, clearly some of these, right, you're doing estates, right? So pretty much, show me an estate without real estate nowadays, right? It's probably, 70% or more probably real estate, probably 80%, 90% have real estate in them. They would have no excuse for giving you, the agent, just about 90% of referrals on all of the people that they have in their schedule. I could see them squirming now, where this puts so much pressure on them, right? That they have to make it work.
It's a great question, and I get it from the attorney's perspective. And a lot of times they're the slowest to adopt and actually gain the traction. But we have what's called the recruiting package that they have to fill out this pretty thorough questionnaire. And if you can get through that entire questionnaire, then you're pretty motivated to be participating in this group. Funny story, however, the group that I'm currently in, the estate planning attorney, is probably one of the most active referrers in the group right now.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, because he gets the most leads.
And he's into it, and he gets it, and he sees the value in it, and he's getting really excited about the giving portion of it. But he's also really fired up about the fact that the consumer is really protected, and ultimately that's the goal.
And so the other 6, I'm just thinking in my mind ahead. I'm thinking, okay, so this guy, and I'm going to use yours, Mark, as an example. This guy is the most excited giver, right? Because he's certainly got more leads than anybody people need to sell. And then I'm thinking, well, where's the reciprocation, right? And the reciprocation comes in the other 6. Who do you know that died?
Yes and no. Obviously somebody who dies, everyone's going to refer it to him, but
where else would it come from? Right. I mean, that's,
first,
died. I don't know anybody that died next.
Yeah.
Where else would it come from?
So estate planning attorneys are also pre-death, right? So their role really is.
I got you. Right. Yeah.
To get them set up for early demise or, expected demise. So they're getting referrals through the primary referral targets, because the financial advisor is getting them from the loan officer and the real estate attorney that they're normally not getting referrals from. So the financial advisor is then working with the estate planning attorney, and they're all returning it back to the real estate attorney. So it just flows like a wonderful, wonderful machine.
Once the financial advisor does a financial plan, the estate planning referral is their easiest referral. That's kind of like a realtor referring a mortgage originator. They need they've done a good job planning.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But to answer the question, of course, anybody can refer that estate planning attorney, because more than likely that estate planning attorney is also doing that after death probate work that nobody else in the group would.
Right. But they're the ones that probably wrote the will. So you are right. It's actually before they die. So it then opens it up to everybody.
Right.
And then I guess you just got to make sure that all you guys aren't cross-selling and sitting people down with this Core 7 model, and they're like, oh no, Mark already gave this to me, already showed this to me. So how do you make sure there's no overlap?
There isn't. If the system is followed, every person is covered, so there's no overlap. The one thing that one of the more common questions we get is, what if you have someone who came from like a different realtor? You don't want to refer it to the realtor that's in your group, and that's just communication. We never want to fracture a network. We always keep it with the person. So, for example, if if I did a mortgage and it was a different real estate agent that from a different realtor that wasn't in the group, I would just let it be known, you know what, they have their realtor, the cross sells that happen to the realtor, don't do it. You know, and then we get a chance to obviously meet some new people and work with them.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Let me talk to you about the homeowner's insurance person, right? How does a homeowner's insurance person reciprocate?
Great question. One of the things I always ask, our property and casualty insurance agent to do is talk about an umbrella policy.
Okay.
So they're doing the homeowner. They're talking about the homeowner's insurance. They talk about the umbrella policy to protect some of their assets. And then everything we're trying to do, we probably should have said this earlier, we're trying to plug into what we call the referral generator.
Okay. Tell me about that.
The referral generator is, how is your relationship with blank who specializes in blank? So
how is your relationship with blank who specializes blank? How is your, I'm going to just try to fit this in. How is your relationship with your accountant who specializes in people with real estate?
Exactly.
All right.
That works.
How is your relationship with
real estate agent who specializes in selling homes in Newton? In different
selling homes to veterans?
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
Selling homes to people that are, empty nesters or whatever. You fill in the blank.
So that's
Bite
where
your lip and you let them answer.
So that's where when the property and casualty insurance agent is asking about the umbrella policy and protecting their assets, the script we always try to have them say is, all your insurances should be reviewed together. How's your relationship with your financial advisor who specializes in insurance? And if they don't have someone, it's very easy to make an introduction. So that's what, the good ones are also doing insurance reviews where they're saying, I see we have your homeowners and your auto policy, but we don't have your umbrella policy. Love to set up a time to do a full review. And the goal is obviously trying to ask some other questions and whatever professionals they don't have, saying, how's your professional, how's your, whatever that professional is who specializes in that need. And if they don't have that person, obviously there's an introduction that can be made.
The other one, Pat, with the property and casualty, you see is there's a high percentage of people who, after they've purchased their first car, purchase a home within a short period of time. So when we get that script back to the real estate agent, maybe they're not, going to go and buy something in the next 6 weeks, 6 months, but they're in their database now. They're in their drip zone, and they've made a connection.
Well, that's obviously part of it too. A lot of these referrals, especially to the real estate agent, may not be doing something right away. So a good follow-up system is obviously needed. Like, for example, the financial advisor, every time they're working with a client, I mean, they find out everything. You know, are you downsizing? Do you need to, you know, to upgrade because you have a child on the way? You know, how's your relationship with your realtor who specializes in whatever it may be? Our financial advisor gave the real estate agent over a 2-year period in our group gave them 15 closings, 15 referrals that closed. There was a lot
They
more.
closed it. They actually got paid on, and
Yeah.
this was the financial advisor, right? So he's sitting down with people, going over their, you know, net worths and how they're going to be protected and their wills and stuff, or actually that's a state attorney, but, you know, going over their finances. And so then then he just asks them, how is your relationship with your real estate agent that specializes with high net worth individuals, and then shuts up and they say, well, you know, oh, can I refer you? I'm going to have you talk to such and such. But what if and then do like how does it, is that how it works?
Yes. One of the more common ones, which is why when we do the tracking, it's really accountable, is net worth cross sell. Every time someone meets with their financial advisor, they should be calculating their net worth each time. At least I believe that.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, that's sure.
Here's a funny story for you. So a financial advisor was presenting to us their software that, you know, keeps the money organized and keeps everyone organized. And they had Zillow on the software. And the realtor was kind of upset about this. He said, Zillow's not really accurate. And I said, that's the best thing that's ever happened to you. And he asked me why. And I said, because now the financial advisor can say, you know, Zillow says your house is worth $400,000. But you know what? Zillow's not always accurate. How's your relationship with your realtor who specializes in equity assessments?
There you go.
They can, that, you know, there's a conversation, and, you know, you can look up the property and ask a few questions to the client. You know, and it's really easy. If they don't have a realtor, it's a great way to make a relationship.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and I don't know what the other alternative would be to not have Zillow on there. I mean, would be asking a realtor to do a hell of a lot of work for free just to give people a net worth assessment. So it makes a lot of sense. I think you're 100% right. I was like, use that as a leverage to say, you know, let's get this right. You know, let's get it exact.
And then when the consumer does have that real estate agent do that work, they feel loyal to them, right?
Yes.
So they're gonna stick with them, and then of course our core 7 real estate agents are going to stay in touch with them, and then they don't know any other real estate agents at that point.
Yeah, that's when the mailers and the thank you cards and the periodic check-ins, you know, really go a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good stuff. So guys, let me go over these one more time in case some of these are starting to bundle in your mind. Of course, you have the consumer in the middle. You have the real estate agent, the mortgage officer, the financial advisor, the title company or the real estate attorney, the homeowner's insurance company, the accountant, and the estate planning. And that's it. Those are your core 7. And what these guys are saying is, listen, focus on the core 7 and you're going to get, think about the 15 closings that the realtor got from the estate attorney. I mean, I guarantee you, or from the financial advisor, I'm sorry, I guarantee you those were all decent price range houses, people with great credit, people with, you know, good savings. I mean, great buyers who are referred directly to you, like A+ buyers, right? These aren't like slouchy leads like, here, take this. There's 12 other agents fighting for it because they clicked a box on a website somewhere that says they're interested in it, even though their lease isn't up for another year. These are high quality leads. And if you want that sort of thing, then just focus on these 7. Some people like to refer out to millions, to everyone and anyone they can think of. But in reality, what these guys are saying is this is the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 80% of the referrals come from 20% of the people you do business with. These are the 7 inside that 20. And I love this concept. I love this concept. So what I'm going to do is there's a really cool chart that I'm going to post in the show notes of this podcast, which will be on hybendigital.com / let's see, core 7 / core 7, CORE and the number 7. And I'm going to put also links to Mark and Mark if you guys want to reach out to them, as well as their free gift that they brought along today. So let's jump into that. Mark and Mark, everybody that comes on the show brings a free gift. We put it in your show notes, and then we also put it in our Agent Success Toolbox. What gift did you bring today?
Pat, what we've done is we've put together what's called the Core 7 Quick Start Toolkit. In essence, it allows any one of your listeners to create and build their own mastermind team. And we've added a lot of awesome content in there with some scripts, how to handle the one-on-one partnership meetings, and how to recruit the right team, because ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. Do we have the right 7 on the bus?
Nice. So, guys, I'm going to put that in the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found at hybendigital.com / toolbox, or text the word toolbox to 444-999. I'm also going to put it in the show notes with all of these guys' information. I love this concept. This is really good. So, Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show. Wish you the best of luck, and let's stay in touch.
Sounds good, Pat. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Rockstars. Please give us a review wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. We eat feedback for breakfast, and I don't care whether you give me a 1-star review or a 5-star review. I just want the review. I want to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Would love to improve things. Hey, and listen, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get and the more reviews we get, the better guests we'll get for you in the future. Feel free to reach out to me anywhere on social media. Just type in my name. I'm everywhere, and I look forward to meeting you in the digital world. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to Real Estate Rockstars.